Hello guys, the stream will start shortly. We are just waiting for a few guys to jump on. Thank you. Hello legends, we're just waiting a minute or two just for a few guys to come and jump on the chat. Please let me know if you guys can hear everything, if you guys can see stuff. Just let me know in the comments. Cool beans. Welcome to the Tip Top Fishing live broadcast. The broadcast will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Hello guys! Welcome to a live broadcast. Yay! I'm so excited. So before we get fully going, please remember to clap that like button. It just shows YouTube that that I'm not super cuck, so to show the video to more people. Also, clap a couple of comments. The reason why I'm doing this live video is so that I can get questions from you guys. Because if you guys followed the channel, I have done many videos in the past where I have taught guys how to tie rigs. But because I've done it on my own and then posted it, guys have asked a lot of questions and stuff like that. We've got one comment there. Capture TV. How's it, Keaton? All good. Thank you so much. Franco Baez says, yes! Franco's an awesome chef, by the way. Guys, check out Chef Franco Baez. Chef Franco, he's a flippin' legend. He does all kinds of meals, health meals. He even does inside dining where he'll come and cook for you in your house. He's an absolute legend. Check out Chef Franco. He's a legend. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, I'm going to be doing this live video so that I can teach you guys the Brandon main rig, which is a rig that's caught me most of my PBs. And while I'm tying it, please ask questions, and if you don't see something, let me know. There is a bit of a delay. I'm looking down to see the chat like this. You'll see me looking at the chat. So there is a bit of a delay, so forgive me for that. But yeah, let's get going. Reinhard Knutzer. Hey, what's up, Keaton? What's up, Reinhard? Okay, let's get going. What does this rig look like? Let me take it out right here and show you guys. This is what it looks like out from the top. It is just like this. You can't really see much. Let's lay her down. I can see I've dipped her in water. Let's go to that camera and you should see it now. There you go. This is it. Okay, so what it basically is, let's zoom out slightly so you guys can see a bit more. Okay, so what it is a normal what's it called, drop-off lead system. So we've got a lead that'll drop off. It's a safe rig, so if this lead gets caught in some snags or something while you're fighting a fish, it will come off and not snag the fish. Then over here we have got some lead core. Lead core is there to let the line and all the rig stuff be flat on the bottom and not be in the way of fish, because if fish swim into lines and stuff, they are shown that there is a rig there, which is not what we want. Okay, moving along, we've got an anti-tangle sleeve. Can you see it? Yeah, anti-tangle sleeve right here. Then we've got some 20-pound fluorocarbon. I use 20-pound, 14-pound, and I have used 8 once or twice, but 8 is a little bit soft. Then I either use this guy or this guy. So I either use the Nash Claw in size 5 with a micro barb, or I use the Nash Twister size 2. I prefer the Nash Twister size 2, which is this guy over here, because it has got a little turn to the eye. So if you look at how this hook is lying, just like this, look at how it wants to turn in a bit. So when a fish pulls in the line, it'll hook it every time. So you see that. Get him. Okay. So Reynard's asking, thank you for asking a question. Reynard, legend, yes. So and Neelan says hello. Hello, Neelan. Reynard's asking, do you prefer lead core or liquid wire? I like them both. Let's just change over so you can see me. I like them both, but liquid wire, I like that it's a bit softer, but it has pulled out on me, so I do have to make sure when I splice it and all that kind of stuff that it works proper and it won't come off, because it's nothing worse than that failing on you. So lead core is also good. I often end up using 20-pound fluorocarbon just straight to the drop-off lead. That's because fluorocarbon sinks like a brick, and I put 1 or 2 softly squeezed split shots onto it to keep it down even more, but then softly squeezed so that it'll be just come off and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's carry on with the rig. Let's finish what it looks like. Let's go back to that. Okay, can you see it? Yes. Okay, so then we've got the 20-pound fluorocarbon, which you can see that I haven't really steamed, and I've kept it very short for this video. Usually I make it about that long, which is about 20 centimeters long. Sometimes I've gone to 30 centimeters to keep it away from the lead, especially when I'm fishing on a very flat bottom. Flat bottom jeans, boots with the fur. The whole club was looking at that lead, so then they didn't eat the bait. Okay, so sometimes I go to 30 centimeters, but most of the time I'm around 20. Then we've got a knotless knot onto that size 2 hook, size 2 hook, and then we have got the joining knot, which I will teach you now, and then some supple braid, so a little bead or a little gummy stop, whatever you want to call it. Today we are using the hook beads from Nash in the small one, and then we've got a little wafter or bottom bait, or a bottom bait with a bit of cork in it. That is your best baits with this rig is bottom baits. Bottom baits. It's a bottom bait rig. You want to fish this guy over hard bottoms, maybe a little bit of silt, but not that much. It's a hard bottom, flat bottom, and why it works so well on those kind of bottoms is that the fluorocarbon is almost invisible in water. So the fluorocarbon makes the rig almost disappear, and then the fish don't realize it's there, and then they chow. So I've caught a lot of fish in Bersig, so this is a good rig for Bersig, where the water is super clear. So something like Bersig, Aqua, all those kinds of places where it is super clear. So we've got 15 people on. Let's see if we can get 1 or 2. Come guys, share the videos with your friends. Tell them to come and join. Okay, so we got another question. Thomas van der Linde says, hi, I'm very late. Don't worry, you're here. Yes. Then we've got Dion says, hi Keaton, please explain how the fish will still be able to suck up the hook bait even if the hair is that long. Okay, so the hook, I made this hair a little bit longer. Now there is a theory whereby the longer your hair, the bigger the fish, because the bigger the fish, the bigger the mouth, and then they will suck it in. So this is when you're fishing for a fish bigger than 10 kilos. I do often fish it slightly smaller when I just want to catch a fish. So you can fish this hair. Let's show you what it looks like. You can fish this hair slightly shorter. So start the bait about there. I don't know. Can you see it nicely there? Start the bait around there. But it depends on what you're looking for. So this would be typically a fish that is more than 10 kilos. But I can also, if I want to do it, I'll take that there and then add a little piece of fake maize or something to give it a bit of pop at the top here. But being tip-top fishing, I can't be normal. So let's show you what it looks like underwater. Underwater. Why? How are we doing that? We've got a fish tank. Getting the fish tank out. Fish tank. Okay. Fish tank's here. And lowering the rig into the water so you can see what it looks like. Okay. So it looks like, let's lay it a little bit better than that. I should have steamed this, but it is what it is. Okay, so you can see what it looks like kind of here. Let's give you a slightly better view of it. Okay, let's go from the top. See what it looks like from the top. There. Can you see it? You can kind of see it from the top. And then let's get a bit closer. Let's do that. And then can you see it now? Okay, here we go. So as you can see, the line is quite hard to see. What you're seeing in the background is this. So can you even see the line of the rig? It's pretty hard to see, even with the super clear water and the bottom being like a mirror. So you can't even really see it. That's why it really works. Okay, let's see if this works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This bottle isn't ideal. Okay, let's settle the camera down a bit. Okay, sorry for the mess on that side. Can you see it now? A little bit better. Is it a little bit better? Okay. So what I've got is my simulated carp. Hello carp, simulated carp, right here. Okay, the mouth is very small. So if it doesn't work perfectly, it's because the mouth is too small. But if you want to usually test your rigs and see how they do, usually like a Energade bottle or something like that with a opening like this is quite a nice size for a carp. So let's see this. So just getting a bit of water in it. So when a carp sucks this up, he's gonna do this. Yes, that's what I'm talking. It doesn't work with a small bottle top, but it'll do that and hook inside the fish's mouth. So that's usually how you test it. The fish sucks it up like that and the hook gets pulled up to it. Now what adds to that, let's get this away. Let's get it away. Okay, so we've got lots of questions. Okay, so before I get to the questions, see that. What helps align this hook into a fish's mouth is, I don't know if you can see it. Let's zoom in a little bit more on this camera. Okay, you can zoom in there. Focus. Okay. I think this is what makes this rig quite special. Firstly, you've got the supple braid, which allows your fish to suck in the bait and pull the hook into the fish's mouth like that. Then what you have is a little boom section over here. Now this boom section allows you to pull the hook in, but then what it does, it allows you to get rid of that bait and allows the hook to do its job, along with the angle of that eye and the stiffness of the fluorocarbon. So that those are the reasons. That the fact that the fluorocarbon is pretty invisible, the aggressive angle of the hook point, the eye, the stiffness of the braid to allow for that aggressive turning angle, and then how it gets rid of bait. It's a very, very cool rig. Okay. So, we've got 25 people watching. Should we answer some questions? Let's answer them questions. You guys are answering questions. Isn't that great? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Thorsten, hey Keaton, just a quick question. When tying rigs, does the hair length matter, as sometimes the hair length might look too long? The hair does matter. It does matter. It's not a big science. You've got to ask the big specimen guys. You've got to ask... I'm talking the SA guys like Gilbert and the other guys. Because I've seen guys use very short hairs, and I've also seen guys like David who's got a hair that's literally this long, and he manages to catch 13 plus fish. So the hair thing, I think, is more of a personal preference thing. But for me, I think rule of thumb is a length of your finger, or length of my finger, so about a centimeter and a half, the thickness of my finger. I would say thickness of your finger, but some of your Afrikaans oaks have got like logs for fingers, so I'd say a centimeter and a half away from the actual hook. Okay, so that's answered. Franco says thanks for the shout out. Of course, Franco, you're a legend. Thomas, I can't see the line. Okay. Well, is that when it was in the water? Thomas, just please clarify that. Franco, epic carp feeding action. Yeah, well, that bottle's a bit of a fail. Adrian, Lawrence, when can freshwater Turks and ITTF do a session? I don't know, bro. Things are flipping busy at the moment. What is my PB? My PB is small, 14 point something. If you're going to check out the video is on YouTube. Does it really matter what type of rig you use? At Ridderkoppie's Dam, I don't know. I just blanked for 7 days, so you tell me. Ridderkoppie's, we found lots of sand, lots of silt, so I would suggest, if I fished it again, I'd suggest abandon main rig, because I did get, I got 3 runs, I think, and the Brandon main rig got 2 of them, and then the other one was on a Ronnie rig, so that worked. Any tips on rigs for deep silt? Yes. Actually, let me get into those questions later. First, let's show you the little surprise that I've got. This is the introduction of the video that is releasing next week. I'm very excited for it. So I got together, Wesley got in contact with me, and he is he's the owner of Carpe Diem, which is an awesome bait boat selling company. And they've got awesome bait boats, one of which is this one. Enjoy. How epic is that? Yes, like. I think we did some good filming on that one. But the boat is super cool. I'm not going to lie. That thing is awesome. But yeah, make sure to check out the full video where we talk with Wesley on all of the aspects of the boat, why the boat's so lacquer, and yeah, we've got video of that coming out, and we filmed another one that he imports, which is also very cool. I call it the Ferrari of bait boats. But yeah, that's the Camo 360. If you guys are interested in one of those, make sure to go to Carpe Diem. I think it's carpediem.co.za to go and check it out. So we got a lacquer little comment there from Amazing Fishing Adventures. He says, we just got one this week. Tested it at Reedflay today. It was awesome. Caught 4 carp in 3 hours. Hey, that's pretty cool. So yeah, let me know what you think of the video. But should we start? Let's tie this rig, and then we can talk about questions of other rigs after that. So let's tie rigs. You guys ask me questions as I'm tying it for how to tie this rig. So if you don't see something or are a bit confused, we'll do that. Okay. So let's get out some of the pieces you will need. Okay, are we there? Yes. Okay. So pieces you will need. Starting from the top, you're going to either need a Nash Twister size 2 or a Nash Claw size 5. The Claw's got quite a wide gape on it, so you can afford to get quite a smaller size, which is size 5. I really like the shape of the Claw when using this rig. But I also like the aggressive eye of the Twister. So today we're going to use the Twister. Then what we've got to get is we've got some supple braid. So you can either use some supple braid as it is over here, or you can get some coated braid that you can strip. So let me know which one you guys can see better. I think probably it's this one that you can see better. So I think we might use this one. Okay. So there, then we get further down, we've got the bead like we discussed earlier. We've got the hook beads from Nash as well, small size 7 to 10 hook, that's what they call it. We don't really need it for the hook itself, we need it for the braid. Then further down we've got our monofilament. You can use a normal monofilament, but you could rather use fluorocarbon like I've got. I'm using I think it's Berkeley Vanish 20 pound. It's actually a bass line, but it works really well for this. It is relatively supple but also stiff at the same time, so it's a nice balance between the two. Cool beans. So we got that. Then we've got the quick change uni swivel, which you guys are used to. You've seen that from Nash. Then we've got the lead clip, also Nash. And then we've got the lead clip tail rubbers, which we're going to use for a tail rubber and an anti-tangle sleeve. And then you got to get your tools and stuff like that. Go bananas. Let us begin. So what we do is we start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. When you've got your supple braid and fluorocarbon, we have to put them together with this simple knot. Okay. Now, guys, let me know if you can see. I'm watching the comments like a hawk. Okay, here we go. So it's a relatively simple knot. It doesn't have to be anything specific. So if you guys have got a knot that you like to tie for braid and mono, you do it. And it doesn't have to be particularly strong, because all it's doing is holding your bait onto the hair, so it's not going to deal with a whole lot of troubles. So this is the knot that I like to tie. First you get your fluorocarbon. Can you guys see? Should I zoom in a little bit more? Okay, focus on me. Okay, there you go. So here it is. What you do is you bend it like that. Make a little loop. Then you take your braid and you put it through like that. Cool bananas. Put it through like that. Simple. Then you pinch it So you pinch it like this. Well, get the braid in the right spot. And you pinch it. Okay, so you've got your tag end there of your braid. And then you've got your 2 monos there. Okay, then you wrap that braid around there 5, 8 times, whatever you feel. Okay, wrapping it around. Wrapped it. So you've wrapped it. So it looks like this. Let's zoom in a bit more so you guys can see nicely. Can it focus at that distance? I don't know. Hello. Okay. Should be focused. So that's what it should look like. See how the braid is coming out of this direction. So you want to put your tag end through the same way as the line is going. Like that. Can you see how they're going the same way? Okay? So then you tighten that down. Is everybody with me? Wet that. Like that. And just work it down. So it's nice and little. Test your knot. So it should look like that. But like I said, it doesn't have to be super tough. It just needs to hold them together. So next step, cut your tag ends. Cut him off. These scissors are old now. Come on, skizzers. And then you cut off this end of your fluorocarbon. So it looks like that. You can burn it off. Should we burn it off? Let's make it look pretty. Following perfect so far. Thank you, Franco. Let me know if you guys are lost. It's not too complicated, but also you can make it whatever you guys want it to be. Okay, so that's that part done. Next part. You're going to have to wrestle with your little bead. So we're going to get out our hook beads. Hook bead. We're going to get one hook bead out. And usually what I do is I get one hook bead out and then I spill the rest on the floor. It's a bit of a pain in the bottom. In the bottom. In the bottom. Okay, here we go. Back to the zoomy. Okay, you're going to watch me struggle here, boys. And girl, if there's a girl watching. Probably the only girl watching is Mom. Hi, Mom. Okay, so here's your bead. You want to put your baiting needle through it. It is going to fight you. Because what we need a bead to do is it's got to grip the braid. So it's got that hole in the bead. It's got to be. Okay, let me make you watch my ugly mug while I struggle with this, because this is the hardest part. Sometimes a gummy stop is better. See, I just dropped it. Right, there it is. So forgive me, y'all, while I struggle with this. Gummy stops also work, and actually, to be honest, the gummy stops work a bit better. So I might switch to a gummy stop in the next bit, if this thing keeps on fighting me. My mother just laughed. Yes. Hi, Mom. Easy knot. Cool beans. Thanks, Adrian. I'm now forcing this bead not through the hole it's supposed to go to. Doesn't matter. Okay. Well, it's not pretty, but it worked. It worked. It's on. Cool. Then you thread this onto your braid. Like this. Onto your braid. Put it through all the way. Okay. So whoever was asking me about see how I made it a bit crap there, sorry about that. Whoever's asking me about hook link length, this is about the time where you have to really focus on it. So what I would do is you would get your bait. Oh, there. Sorry. You get your bait, and then you measure where you want it to be, and then you got to tie your little loop at the end. Okay, your little loopy at the end. So you got to make it relatively short. So fold it over and then just tie a granny knot there. If you don't know what a granny knot is, I'm sure there's a million tutorials by normal people who will tell you how to tie a granny knot. So there you go. So you've got your little loop. This loop is going to hold your bait stop later on. Okay, let's cut off that tag end. Guys, if everyone's following so far, let me know. Let me know. Okay, so now we've got that tied. We're going to put on our bait. So normal stuff. Get your baiting needle, stick it through your bait. Got a nice smelling wafter. Just like that, put it through. Hook it onto your loop that you've just made, like that. See him there, and push him on. Yeah, there you go. So you want to make this loop at the top of your bait relatively big, so that you can put in your bait stop. So I've got a bait stop which is pretty much one of those clothes things. They've got those clothes things they put in clothes, and then it locks on the tag. So just put it on like that and then pull it down just like that. So what I do is, as another step, you see how this is sticking out? See how it's sticking out like that? A fish is going to feel that, and that's not going to feel like a normal boilie. Their mouths are very, very, very sensitive. So what I do is I take the back end of something flat and I push it down into the bait. This is a bit tricky because this bait's really hard, but you just do that with it, so that it's a much smoother finish. So then when a fish feels it, it's not going to feel completely foreign and like, oh, that's plastic, don't eat that, run. Okay, so that was the most complicated part of the rig. Next part, get your Nash twister. Got your Nash twister. There it is right there with that awesome aggressive eye. Okay, guys who are new to fishing, new to carp fishing, for guys that are familiar with carp fishing, focus here. So guys who are familiar with carp fishing know that you always go in that direction, from the back of the hook to the front, because if you do the opposite end, you're actively stopping fish from biting. Okay, so we are going here. So we'll put it from the back to the front like that. Put it all the way through. Okay. So it's here like that. Can you see? It's through there. Cool. Now you hold this down and you can decide how long you want your hair to be. I want it to be about that length. I usually go in line with the tip of the hook, with the point of the hook. That's where I usually like it. And then you make a knotless knot. So you wrap your line around the shank of the hook a couple of times, and then once or twice on the way back, and then back through the same direction as you did before, from the back of the hook to the front of the hook through the eye. So it should look like this. Can you see it? It should look like that. Should look like that. If it doesn't look like that, then something's wrong. If the I'm going to show you the wrong way to do it so that you see what it looks like if you've done it wrong. So that is the wrong way to do it. Can you see how it's coming out the wrong side of the eye? And it's actually making an angle that makes the hook go that way. We want the hook to actively want to hook things. So if I do this, it's not going to want to hook. Oh, sorry. Look at focus. Sorry, I'm looking at the bottom. So if I run this over my finger, look how it pushes the hook away from my finger. See, that's the wrong way. So let's do it the right way, and I'll show you how the rig performs. Watch how it will turn immediately from the back to the front of the hook. It'll turn immediately and hook my finger. So exactly the same thing. Let's wait for it to focus. Okay. Watch how it turns immediately into my finger. So if my finger was a fish's lip, we would be fighting a fish right now. So that's what we want. Cool bananas. So that is the most difficult part of the rig tied. Yes. Very happy about that. Yes. Okay, so now is the time where you decide how long you want your rig to be. Do you want it to be this long, which is like, that's about 30 centimeters. This I would do probably at a bersig or something like that, when you want to get this hook bait far away from your lead so that the fish don't feel like they're going to eat a rig. But most of the time I'm going to make it that, about 20 centimeters, that long. Okay, so now we're going to tie. Let's zoom out a bit so you can see a bit better. So here's our rig. Can you see it? There you go. Then we're going to tie a figure of 8 loop knot. Okay, so we got Reynard asking a question. Why do you wrap the line back over itself again before you put it through the eye of the hook? That is a great question. Thank you for asking it. Okay, why do I wrap it back? Because if I didn't wrap it back, what happens is when you test your... This is if I didn't wrap it back, okay? When you test your rig, your the hair of the hook, the hair for the bait, actually gets pulled around the hook. So you end up having, let's show you there, you end up having your hook bait or your hair coming out from, let's zoom in there, sorry. Can it focus? Yeah. So if you've pulled this and you have not gone back on the hook, the tension of this will pull these wraps around the hook, and then you'll often get your hair of your hook, your hair for your bait, coming out from the side of the hook, coming out from this side or that side, which can be detrimental to the rig mechanics. So wrapping it around 1 or 2 times around it, it just prevents that from happening a bit. So you're less likely to do it. So if you want to use the same rig twice, say you catch one fish and the hook point is still sharp, you don't have to reset the hair, and it's something that guys sometimes forget. So yeah, that's why I do it. Let me know if I've answered that question well enough. And then I'm going to go through the basics because there is going to be someone who is going to ask questions. So you decide the length of how long you want your rig to do. Then you tie a figure of 8 loop knot, which is zooming out, which is you take your line. I'm sure there's another tutorial on how to tie a figure of 8 loop knot, so I'm just going to do that now. Get the baiting needle. I'd tie a double one just because it's habit and I'm used to it. Wet that, tie it down. Now this knot, you've got to make sure this is a fuss knot, because sometimes this knot pulls out and you don't want that. So this time, last time I said you don't have to burn it, but this time I do recommend you burn it. So take about 5 mils. Let's zoom in so you guys can see properly. Hello. There you go. So take about 5 mils of the tag end. You want to cut that there. Bang, cut that. Then you want to get your lighter, which I've misplaced there. There's your lighter. And you put your fingers over the knot and over the line. so you protect it, because you'd rather burn yourself than burn your rig. Okay, then you burn that down and blop it just like that, so you are actually locking that knot in, so nothing should happen to it. Cool. Then what you got to do is you want to get your tail rubbers. Now this one I'm using as a anti-tangle sleeve. Now I personally like to do shorter anti-tangle sleeves. Why? Because the long ones, if you look, I think guys, as a suggestion from me, is make sure to put on some goggles now and again and look through the water at your rig, because if it's obvious to your eyes, it's obvious to the carp's eyes, and carp's eyes are better than your eyes. They're polarized and they're made for underwater. Their eyes develop before ours. So in terms of what's it called, evolution. So I find that often it's the tail rubber that is the first thing I see. So that's why I like short ones. So what I'm doing with this one is I've taken out the tail rubber, and you see how it's got this little thing here. Focus, yo bliksem. Okay, there. Sorry, I'm about to clap my camera. So I just cut off the end, so just to make it a bit short, so it looks like that. Then you put your boiling needle through it, because just fighting with the loop is just not something I want to do. And you put it onto your loop so it sits like that. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that stuff. So it sits like that on your loop. Zoom out a bit. Wrong way. So your rig should be looking about like this. So that's the hook link part of your bait, of your rig. What I'd take now is I'd take a boiling kettle and I'd go and steam this straight, so it's dead straight like that. So that when the rig is on the ground, it's going to be straight. A little bit of a curve like that is okay, but this much curve like in mine is not. That's not okay. But for the sake of this test, I'm just going to move on. Cool bananas. Here we go to the next step. You want to take your lead core or your liquid wire, whatever you guys prefer. We've got another question. Would you use a boilie as a bottom bait at Bersig, or rather drill a boilie out with cork in the middle? The answer is both. I do both. Yes, I've watched fish in that place literally eat every bait except for mine. So what I've found that works, that I tend to do, is I've got 3 rods. So the first one I do just a single bottom bait on a Brandon main rig. That's all I do. Bottom bait. So it's exactly the same as the bait around it. So I'd do that with a boilie. And then the next one is I would drill out the centers of two bottom baits and then put a cork in the middle, so it's neutrally buoyant. So it's effectively a wafter, but there's 2 boilies, but exactly the same color as the bait itself. I do natural stuff. I don't do bright colors in general. Sometimes I do when things aren't working. I'll give it a try, but that's what I do. So then from there, the last one I'll put on a wafter or a pop-up, but usually of the same color as the bait. Those Bersig fish, that dam is small, and there's a lot of line pressure. They know what a rig looks like. They know what a brightly colored hook bait looks like. So that's my theory. That's what works for me. So that's what I do. Okay, cool. Let's get your lead core, and it's pretty straightforward stuff from here, guys. You want to get your quick change swivel. It's this guy over here. I also usually take one of these out and then drop the rest on the floor. So you've got your loop of your lead core. I'm not going to tell you how to splice a lead core. That's for someone else to do. That's finicky for me. I don't feel like that. Okay, so you get the loop there, you put it through, and then you take it over the swivel like that. Just like that. Did you see what I did? Should we show you again? just in case. So you're taking it through like that. Can you see nicely? And then you put the whole swivel through the loop like this, and you work it down so it sits like that, just like that. Then you get the other end and you thread both your lead clip onto it using a boilie needle, obviously, because boilie needles make things easy. This is basic stuff, guys. I'm just going to rush through it because it's a bit boring to watch. Guys, if you don't know how to do this stuff, I think this is the kind of stuff you'd rather ask someone on the bank for, because this is stuff someone should teach you. It's not hard. It's just something it's just easier to show someone in person. You can do it with them, and yeah. Okay, that's not fully in. Nearly there. This time, these ones sometimes you got to bite closed. It's a locking system it's good, but it's not the best locking system I've ever seen. But it just locks in that swivel. These aren't the safest rigs you've ever used. Like, it's safe because it drops the lead, but it's not as safe as a helicopter rig. So that's there. Then you get your tail rubber like you did with the last one, but you just don't cut it. Put it on the end of your lead core. Guys, put it in the comments there. Guys, no one's liked this video. Can you guys pop us a like? This, or at least YouTube's telling me that we've got 0 likes. Do all of you hate this video? If you hate it, click the dislike button twice. So yeah, guys, let me know what length do you usually put your lead core or your what's it called, liquid wire. What's the length that you usually do? Okay, while you guys are typing that, I'm going to get a lead, put on the clip, and because I chose this lead, I'm going to struggle, fight it there like that. So you've got your lead on that like this, and then you slide your tail rubber over it. These ones tend to let go of a lead really easily, so if you don't want to drop a lead really quickly, don't use these ones, because they tend to drop a lead really quick, which is good for fish safety, but it's also dropping lead in a dam. Okay, from there you clip on your hook link, very simple, like that. Pull that through, and then push your anti-tangle sleeve over that, and you are done, obviously with a straight version of that. Guys, none of you, it says I've got 10 likes, but YouTube's lying to me here. It says 0 likes. It literally says 0 likes. So all 10 of you who liked the video, you guys are the best. Okay, so that's how to tie the rig. That's how it looks. So yeah, it's a great rig for flat bottom jeans, boots with the fur. It's pretty invisible, especially if you use fluorocarbon as the main leader instead of lead core, depending on the bottom and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you guys got any questions, let me know. Wesley says he uses 50 centimeters of lead core. I use quite a lot. I like it to be, I want there to be quite a lot of area where the line is pinned flat. I don't want a carp to fish in it, to swim into it. So this is how long I make my leader. So that's unique thing about me. To the tip of my fingers to my nipple is a meter. So that's, let's measure it. So I've got 1 tip of finger to nipple, so that's 1 meter. So I'd say this is mine is about 2 meters. 2 meters or 2 nipple lengths of lead core. That I will use that rig at Bershak. I want to go to Bershak soon. Okay guys, what other questions do you guys have? Let me know. We had a question earlier. there was the question to use. What rig would you use in silt? So I would use a helicopter rig, firstly, because a helicopter rig will allow the lead to plummet into the silt while it lets your rig land softly, your hook link land softly on the top. And then what rig I would use on top of that, it would be between a Ronnie rig or spinner rig, with a pop-up on it. You want that to slowly sink. The hook length of that depends on the silt. If the silt is this thick, then I'll use a short hook link, a very short hook link. But if the silt is very long, then I've lengthened the hook link to about that long before. What else is, I'd use a spinner rig. I've also used a semi-stiff hinge rig. That is a fantastic rig for that kind of stuff. It always presents well. My favorite rig for that, my favorite time I used that rig was when I caught that koi in the Liesbeek River. Liesbeek River is the most polluted, cholera, bloody awful thing you've ever seen in your life. And I watched a koi pick up my semi-stiff hinge rig because it was just so cool. Fishing Fanatic says his PB is only 7 kilos. Guys, a PB is a PB. You guys are on a journey. There's some people that caught the second fish they've ever caught was 18 kilos. Do you know how long they're going to have to fight to get that fish, to get a bigger fish than that? Having a 7 kilo PB is really cool because then you can catch an 8 kilo, then a 9 kilo, then a 10 kilo, 12 kilo. And each time you catch a PB, doesn't matter what it weighs, it's one of the best feelings in the world. So having a 7 kilo thing, PB, is not so bad. Amazing Fishing Adventure says he likes to use shrink tubing on the end tackle to cover the knots. Any reason why you don't use it? Shrink tubing, I do use shrink tubing with other rigs, but this one doesn't need it. The fluorocarbon is thick enough. What's nice about shrink tubing as well is you can also set the departure angle on the line. So maybe if you're using that, remember I said the two types of hooks you can use is there's the twister and then there's the claw. Maybe you put a bit of shrink tubing on where the line comes out of the eye of the hook there. You can maybe do that. So that's another option. What rig is better, Ronnie or spinner? Well, it's the same bloody thing. There's the only difference between the two is the only difference between the two rigs is there's a one more ring on the thing. I don't think there's a difference. You just fish either one that works for you, or whichever one comes with the swivels you got. So I really don't think it's important. Like it makes no difference to me personally. What else? What you preferred? Got that from Adrian. What else? I like shrink tubing. Yeah, got that. What rig is better, running a spinner? Did that. Tell us more behind the name of the Brandon rig. Okay, so the history of the Brandon main rig. So if you guys have watched a long time ago of Tip Top Fishing, I used to have the channel with Brandon. And, well, long story short, Brandon's doing his own business stuff now. But he taught me this rig. It was back in the day when I was still learning a lot, and I learned a lot from Brandon. He was very, very kind and gracious with the amount of knowledge he helped me with. And I literally watched him catch, I don't know, I think it was like 8 fish, 10 fish overnight at Laurentia with this rig. It was just astronomical how well it did. He often fishes it with a snowman. It often works with a snowman as well. Snowman's great with this rig. And yeah, he just caught fish after fish there. Funny story. One time we were there at Laurentia and it was quite quiet, and he was there with his girlfriend at the time, now wife. And we were walking down the bank looking for a fish to stalk, while she was still with the rods. And I had my alarm at the time, which I learned was a bit of a crap alarm. And I thought my alarm would go off because it said range of 70 meters, and I was like 40, 50 meters away. I wasn't that far, but I was on the other side of the reeds. And then we on our way back, and we're hearing screaming. There's Tamika on one of my rods. One of my rods is peeled off, and she was reeling in a fish. And with me is if someone else touches my stuff, I want them to catch the fish. Like it's I want it to be a pure experience for me, where I tie the rig, I put on the bait, I cast it in, and I reel in the fish. I want it to be that sequence of events. And if someone gets to my rods before me, especially if I'm away from my rods and she's there to look after the rods, then I want someone else to reel it in. And then she reeled in a 12, I think it was a 12.6, which would have been my PB at the time. It is what it is. It's one of those things. But I was super happy for her. The fish looked great. And Brandon then caught many fish. That guy is one hell of an angler. Okay, so Hansi Mayer. Hello, Hansi. Hansi, I'm using some of your stuff, so I hope that's okay. Hansi supplied me with this. So guys, if you want any of this tackle, catch me fishing, cmfcarp.co.za. So you can get a 10% discount on all these things if you use my discount code, which I'll put in the description. It's also in most of my other videos. I think it's ITTF123, capital letters. You'll get a 10% discount on all of this stuff if you want to get it. cmfcarp.co.za. It's an awesome site. And Hansi runs that site. So Hansi is also a legend. You've seen him in some of the videos. Awesome guy. Thanks, Hans. You're a bloody legend. Freshwater Turks used the blowback rig at Rudikorpi's last weekend and caught a nice 12.5 kilo on the bottom bait. Nice. A blowback rig is one of those rigs that has barely worked for me. It's one of those weird things, man. Like, blowback rigs have worked for so many people, and then it's every time I use it, I either catch one tiny fish or just don't catch. It's the weirdest thing. Derek Lamb, any recommendations on when lead core is banned? A lot of UK venues are heading this way due to it being used incorrectly and general safety to the fish. Okay. I would suggest, like I said earlier, is I would use fluorocarbon. So a 20-pound fluorocarbon. If you've got snags, you can move that up to a 30-pound fluorocarbon. It's nice because it sinks like a brick, and then it's also pretty invisible in water. And then you just put a couple of split shots up it, so that'll make sure it's flat on the bottom. That's what I would do. But don't put the split shots on too tight. Make sure it's very loose, so it stays on for the cast, but then if anything bumps it, the split shot will fall off, because you don't want to put a hard split shot on so it won't move, and then it can cause all kinds of trouble. So either some of this, can you see it? Either some of this Klingon from Nash, the Twister Putty, the Dark Silt, that's quite a nice stuff. You can put that up the line. That definitely won't hurt your line at all. So put that up the line, or a couple of split shots. So this is the safest option. I just know split shots are a little bit cheaper, but this is the better option. Hansi Krobler. Hi, Hansi Mayer. Have you recently tried the Vaal Rapids with a flood of water? Are you waiting for it to slow down? Okay, yeah. So Hansi also does guided trips for fly fishing. And he's caught me my first ever yellowfish on fly. The video is also up on YouTube. And yes, that was one of the top fishing memories of my life. Like, I've had the snook adventure. That was flippin' fantastic. And then also walking around in the Vaal, catching fish at your feet. It is just, I really suggest it. If you can find Hansi, and when the water's right, because you can't take you now, because the sluices are all open. I think there's 8 sluices open at the Vaal right now. So the water is pumping. If you stand where we stood in our video now, you'd probably end up 20 kilometers downriver before you reach the bank. It's hectic now. So Hansi, as soon as, I'm sure he's quite sad because he loves it's called nymphing. You fly fish with nymphs. You've got like 3 nymphs down your line, and you just put it in the current. It's just super cool. I don't know how those fish find those nymphs. They're tiny little flies in brown water, no scent, no nothing, and these fish pick up these flies moving quite quickly past them. It is the most incredible thing. It baffled my brain. It really is something you got to do. If you haven't done that before, make sure to do it. The next thing I want to do is spinning for largemouth yellows. That's in the Orange River. That's one of my dreams. That's why I'm trying to get some of these Patreon things growing, so that I can get some supporters for Patreon who can help me fund this one of the next adventures that I want to go on, like this Orange River thing. I'd love to go on one of those adventures and take you guys with me. That'd be super cool. It'd be quite tough filming it, but fuck, it'd be so cool. Oh, I said a bad word, sorry. But you can see how excited I am. Dark line for the deeper water. Yeah, I would go dark line, but remember, it's the deeper you go, the darker it gets. So you go 10 meters down, it gets pretty dark, and especially if there's a little bit of color in the water, it gets pretty dark pretty quick. But what's a fun fact is that if a carp is bigger than 5 kilos or bigger than 1 kilo, I think, you can blind a carp and they'll be perfectly fine. That's how heightened their senses are. Their lateral line, their sense of smell, their sense of touch, they are just incredible animals. So yeah, when they down in 15-20 meters of water, they still completely comfortable. They know exactly what's going down there. And then if we go down there, we're like, I can't see anything, I'm panicking. Richard Hudson, hey Keaton, hello. What else? What is some of your favorite Gauteng venues for good sized carp? Bersig is a good one. Lawrence is a great one. Ritvlei is a good one. What else? Fun Fishing, they've got their specimen dam. It's quite a tricky one, but they do have some nice sized carp. Not huge yet, but they'll get there. Aqua is going to be the best venue in South Africa in the next 10 years. Their fish just need to grow, but it's going to be the best venue in 10 years. Right now, the venue itself is awesome. It's just the fish are just still growing. It's an investment that Gilbert's doing an incredible job there. Yes, it is a fantastic place. What else? There are a couple of secret venues, but I can't tell you about them. Yeah, those are the venues that I can think of. The flow, Hansi says the flow needs to be between 15 and 25. I think it's cubic meters per second to be able to walk in that water. What line is better, fluoro or mono? Okay, so mono is cheaper and it's thinner in diameter for the strength than fluoro. So fluorocarbon is thicker for the same strength, but it's also less visible and it's also stiffer. So if you want to cast, fluorocarbon is going to be a pain in the butt to cast. But mono, you can cast it better, but it's a little bit more visible. So what I suggest is you can use the best of both. You have a leader of fluorocarbon, and fluorocarbon is also better with snags. It's more abrasion resistant. So you have a leader of fluorocarbon, and then a monofilament mainline. That's what I would do. But I'm a braid boy. If I can use braid every day of the week, that's what I would do. I love braid. Amazing fishing adventures. Thanks, Keaton. I learnt lots this evening. Also, thanks, Wesley, for the boat. Thomas, who asked some questions earlier, is my son, and he needs to go to bed. Cool beans. Thanks, Amazing Fishing Adventures. Go to bed, Thomas. Thanks for watching. Fadi Nodia, hi guys, caught a nice 17.35 kilo at Harties. Oh yeah, Harties is also a great venue. What's it called? It's out of my head now, but there's Harties venues. There's some big fish at Harties. Really, really nice place. I'm trying to think of the venue now, but it's blanking. It's gone out of my head. But there's a Coca-Cola boat, which is always a good spot. Hashtag just saying if you've been there before. So he caught a 17.35 kilo on a Nash pineapple pop-up at Harties. So if you want to get some Nash baits, cmfcarp.co.za, 10% discount. Make sure to go there. What is your opinion on a spinner rig? I think it's a fantastic rig. It's probably my favorite rig I've ever used. It really is good. Hansi says, so it has to be between 15 and 25 cubic meters per second. I think that's what it is. Hansi can correct me. So it's between 15 and 25. That's what it needs to be for you to walk in the water. Right now, it's running at 1,500 per second. That is insane. Okay, last couple, then we must go. Andre, I really want to go to Aqua, but it's quite expensive. A membership only, I think. Yeah, it's an exclusive venue. So, let me be straight. Gilbert's not there to make money. He's there to make the best venue in South Africa. So every cent that comes from those members, so the membership fees, the tickets, guys when they're fishing there, every cent goes back into that venue. Like I'm on the group there, and every couple of days Gilbert's upgrading it with something. He's working his hat off. He's almost doing a full-time job just managing that venue, and he works for Kingfisher. So Gilbert, you're doing amazing. So yeah, it's going to be an expensive venue because it's an exclusive venue, and yeah, it's one of those things. If you want the best, you got to pay for it. It's like with good quality gear. You want the best, you got to pay for it. Freshwater Turks, thanks for that info. We'll go to All Out Angling to respool some of the spools. Okay. Ifafi, Richard Hudson, Ifafi and Ferdinand. Ifafi is the place. So if you go to Ifafi, go fish by the what's it called, the picnic area, and go for the Coca-Cola boat. That is always a good spot. All the fishermen go there, and the fish know that there's bait there. So the Coca-Cola boat by Ifafi. I'm not giving away people's secrets. So if you think, oh, he gave away my spot, everyone knows that the Coca-Cola boat is the spot. Hansi Krobler, whoa, interesting to know that the flow needs to be 15 to 25 and now it's running at 1,000. He says he saw just right now it's 1,498. So guys, it's dangerous on the water now, so stand on the bank and fish. Cheers Keaton, Freshwater Turks, cheers Keaton, thanks for the info, legend, have a good night. Okay, yeah, thanks so much guys, I really appreciate you all watching. Before you all go, please remember to clap that like button. Even though my screen still says 0 likes, YouTube's lying. I know some of you have liked it, so please clap that like button. And last question before we go. Okay, Ferdinand, what is your preferred particle mix? Your go-to mix? I like corn because it's cheap. Carp love corn, and a tiger nut and hemp. So it's a pretty straightforward one. What I do is I do about 5 kilos of 5 kilos of mealies or dry corn that I've obviously cook and prepare, and then I'll do 1 kilo of tigers, and then maybe half a kilo to a kilo of hemp seed in that. You don't want to put too much hemp seed because they'll start just eating that, and then it's very difficult to make a hemp seed hook bait. Okay, that's it. Judy Ditchfield, Mom, says 30 likes. That's amazing. Thanks so much guys for watching. I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing, and I just want to say thank you to you guys for watching. Thanks to my patrons, because the patrons help make these videos possible, and they help me go on adventures that I can take you guys with and make free content for the rest of you. So my patrons are amazing. If you want to become a patron, I'll put it in the link. I'll put a link in the description, just to buy Tip Top a coffee, or to help me get to buy 1 liter of petrol to get to places like the Orange River or Cape Town or whatever. But yeah, I really appreciate you all watching. Thank you so much. Until next time, tight lines guys. This is me ending the stream.